I never imagined rejection could be systematic. Not one door slammed in my face, but three, one after another, each sounding louder than the last. And the cruel part? They all belonged to the same house. The first proposal. In our town, marriage wasn't romance first. It was reputation. Your name mattered. Your father's name mattered more. And your future? That had to be visible, predictable, respectable. I was 29 when my mother first said it. You're not getting younger. She said it gently, like a doctor delivering bad news with a soft voice. I had a stable job. Not rich. Not poor. A rented apartment. A clean past. No scandals. No addictions. By all logic, I was marriage material. That's why the proposal shocked me. 3 sisters, my aunt said proudly. Good family. Educated. Known people. 3 sisters. Same house. Different ages. The eldest first. That's tradition. I ironed my shirt myself that morning. Not because I didn't trust my mother, but because I wanted control over at least one detail of my life. When we arrived, the house looked perfect from outside. Fresh paint. Quiet street. A small garden with trimmed hedges. A house that knew how to smile. Inside, the smiles were polite. Measured. The eldest sister entered with tea. She didn't look at me. Not once. Her eyes stayed lowered, her movements graceful. Distant, like someone attending a meeting they already planned to decline. Questions were asked. What do you do? What do you earn? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I answered honestly. And that's where I failed. 2 days later, the response came. She doesn't feel compatible. Compatible. A clean word. No blood. No blame. Just a closed door. The second attempt. My family tried to soften the blow. Sometimes the eldest has high expectations, my mother said. Let's try the second sister. I shouldn't have agreed. But hope is stubborn. It survives even humiliation. This time, the second sister spoke more. She asked about my hobbies. My opinions. She smiled. That smile fooled me. For a moment, I imagined Sunday mornings. Shared tea. A normal life. But then her father asked the real question. Do you own property? I said no. Silence. The next evening, the message arrived. She respects you, but she's looking for more. Security. Security. Another clean word. Another locked door. I began to feel like an applicant for a job no one intended to fill. The third sister. This was the worst one. Because no one expected it. She's the youngest, my aunt said. Different mindset. More modern. Modern. That word carried hope like a promise. She met me directly. No tea ceremony. No formal seating. She looked at me straight in the eyes. You've already been rejected twice, she said. I blinked. Yes, I replied. I have. Why are you still here? I didn't have a prepared answer. So I said the truth. Because I believe a man isn't defined by who says no to him. She studied me. Long carefully. Then she smiled. Not kindly. Pityingly. You're brave, she said. But bravery doesn't pay bills. That was it. No delay. No polite excuse. Just a final verdict. 3 sisters. 3 refusals. Same house. Different reasons. Same result. 4, the walk home. I didn't take a ride. I walked. Past shops. Past families. Past couples arguing softly, comfortably. Every step felt heavier. Not because I was rejected, but because I was evaluated and found insufficient. 3 times. By the same standard. I reached my apartment just before sunset. The room felt smaller than usual. My phone buzzed. A message from my mother. Don't take it to heart. Allah has a better plan. I stared at the screen. I wanted to believe her. But belief feels hollow when your dignity feels bruised. That night, I stood on the balcony longer than I should have, watching lights turn on in other people's homes, wondering if any of them had been measured and dismissed so neatly. A strange calm. Something changed after that. Not sadness. Not anger. A calm. A dangerous one. I stopped expecting things. Stopped imagining futures. Work. Eat. Sleep. Repeat. Life without hope is quiet. Predictable. And I thought that was it. This was my story. Rejected. Overlooked. Finished before it began. The knock that didn't belong. 3 weeks later, on a Tuesday evening, there was a knock on my door. Not loud. Not hesitant. Precise. I opened it. And my world tilted. A little girl stood there. No older than 6. Big eyes. Neatly braided hair. A school bag hanging off one shoulder. She looked up at me like she already knew me. Behind her, no adult. No explanation. Just her. She spoke softly. Are you my father? The hallway went silent. My breath caught. My brain rejected the sentence before my heart could process it. I think there's been a mistake, I said. She shook her head. No, she said. My mother told me this address. My knees weakened. What's your mother's name? I asked. She said it. And the air left my lungs. Because it was a name I hadn't heard in years. A name from a past I thought was closed. A past I never imagined would return. With a child holding my eyes in hers. I didn't answer her question right away. The word father echoed in my head, heavy and unreal, like it didn't belong to me. I stared at the girl standing at my door, small, thin. Wrapped in an oversized sweater, her eyes too familiar to ignore. They weren't hopeful. They weren't afraid either. They were waiting. Who sent you? I finally asked. She hugged the strap of her small bag tighter. My mom, she said. She said you would understand. That sentence alone told me everything had already gone wrong somewhere else. I stepped aside and let her in. The apartment felt even smaller with her inside. She stood near the door, unsure where to put her feet. As if she might be asked to leave at any moment. I turned on the light. Her face became clearer, and my chest tightened. The shape of her eyes. The way her mouth rested naturally, serious even at rest. I had seen this face before. Years ago. In another woman. What's your name? I asked. Anaya. I repeated it quietly, as if testing whether it belonged in my world. It did. Too easily. I gave her water, then sat across from her. She didn't touch the glass. Where is your mother? I asked. She's sick, Anaya said. She didn't want to come. That was when I knew this wasn't coincidence. This wasn't curiosity. This was desperation. She told me to come before it's too late. The words too late landed hard. I leaned back, running a hand through my hair. My mind raced through the past, through faces. Moments, conversations I thought I had buried. I remembered the woman I once loved. I remembered how we ended things without closure, without truth. And suddenly, silence from 10 years ago had a shape. And a name. Did she tell you who I am? I asked carefully. Anaya nodded. You're the man who didn't know. That sentence broke something inside me. I stood up and walked to the window, needing distance from my own thoughts. Outside, the city moved like nothing had changed. Inside, everything had. How old are you? I asked without turning. 9. 9 years. 9 years of a life lived without me. I turned back to her. Why now? She hesitated. Then said the truth with a child's simplicity. Because my mom said you deserve to know. And I deserve a choice. A choice. I thought of the three sisters who had refused me. Not because I was cruel. Not because I was weak. But because I wasn't enough on paper. And now, standing in front of me, was proof that life doesn't follow evaluations. You can stay tonight, I said. Her shoulders relaxed for the first time. That night, I watched her sleep on my couch. Her small chest rising and falling steadily. I sat nearby, unable to rest. Staring at the same ceiling that had once witnessed my loneliness. I wasn't ready to be a father. But I was already one. And for the first time in years, rejection didn't define me anymore. Responsibility did. Morning arrived quietly. Too quietly. I woke up before Anaya, the pale winter light slipping through the curtains. For a moment, I forgot everything until I saw her curled on the couch. Her small hand tucked under her cheek, breathing evenly. Reality returned without mercy. I made breakfast, unsure what fathers were supposed to do. Unsure what I was supposed to be. Eggs burned slightly. Toast came out uneven. She didn't complain. She ate politely, carefully, as if afraid to take up space. You have school? I asked. She shook her head. My mom said I'd stay with you today. That sentence carried weight far beyond its words. Around noon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. It's me, the woman said. Her voice was weaker than I remembered. Softer. Older. Can we talk? I closed my eyes. We met at a small cafe near the hospital. Anaya sat between us, swinging her legs gently. Unaware that her existence was rewriting the past. Her mother looked fragile. Not sickly, but tired in a way only time can accomplish. When our eyes met, there was no anger. Only relief. I should have told you, she said. Yes, I replied. You should have. Silence followed, not hostile, just heavy. I didn't come for forgiveness, she continued. I came so she wouldn't grow up wondering why she was unwanted. That word hit hard. She was never unwanted, I said quietly. She nodded, tears welling. I know that now. Outside the cafe, someone else was watching. The three sisters. I noticed them through the glass, standing across the street. The same women who had once rejected me, one after another. Not cruelly. Not loudly. Just decisively. Now their eyes were fixed on the child beside me. And for the first time, I wasn't the one being evaluated. Later that evening, the confrontation came. The eldest sister spoke first. So it's true. Yes, I said calmly. The middle one crossed her arms. You never mentioned a child. I didn't know, I replied. The youngest looked at Anaya, not with disgust, not with fear, but with confusion. She looks like you, she whispered. Anaya held my hand without thinking. That small gesture said more than any argument ever could. We didn't refuse you because you weren't good, the eldest finally said. We refused because we were taught to choose safety over uncertainty. I nodded. And I was uncertainty. She looked at Anaya again. Now, she asked. I looked down at my daughter. Now I'm responsibility. No one argued after that. That night, as I tucked Anaya into bed, she asked a question that didn't sound like a child's. Are people angry because of me? I knelt beside her. No, I said firmly. They're quiet because of you. She smiled, satisfied. As I turned off the light, I realized something profound. Love didn't arrive when the sisters left. It arrived when the future stayed. The city didn't change after the truth came out. People still rushed to work. Cars still honked. Shops still opened on time. But my world had tilted, quietly, permanently. Anaya started calling the apartment home without asking if she could. She left her shoes near the door. Stacked her books beside the couch. And claimed the corner of the dining table for drawing. She didn't demand space. She assumed it. And strangely, I let her. The problem wasn't loving her. The problem was everything that followed. School forms needed a guardian's signature. Medical records asked for a father's name. Even the smallest systems of society demanded answers I hadn't prepared. One evening, while she colored silently, she asked, "Why don't we have the same last name?" I froze. Children don't ask to hurt you. They ask because they notice patterns adults pretend not to see. That's complicated, I said. She nodded, then returned to her drawing. I like complicated, she replied. I didn't. That night, I called her mother. We need to talk, I said. We met again, this time at the hospital. She looked weaker than before, but calmer. As if handing Anaya to me had relieved a weight she'd carried alone for years. I can't do this much longer, she admitted quietly. Not the way I want to. My throat tightened. You're not dying, I said, more statement than question. No, she smiled faintly. But I'm tired. And she needs stability more than she needs my pride. She slid a folder across the table. Legal papers. Consent forms. A future that required my signature. You don't have to replace me, she said. Just stand with her. That word again. Stand. I realized then that fatherhood wasn't about arrival. It was about staying. When I told Anaya she'd be enrolled in school near my place, she didn't cheer. She just asked, "Will you still come home every night?" Yes, I said without hesitation. She smiled, not wide, not loud. Just enough. The sisters heard soon enough. This time, they didn't come together. The youngest came alone. I didn't know, she said, standing awkwardly at my door. About the child. I didn't either, I replied. She glanced inside, where Anaya was doing homework. She's real, she said softly. I nodded. I think, she continued, choosing her words carefully. We were raised to fear mistakes more than emptiness. She left after that. No apology. No promise. But something loosened. That night, Anaya handed me a paper. It was a drawing. 3 stick figures. One tall. One small. One sun overhead. What's this? I asked. Our family, she said simply. I looked at the sun. Why the sun? I asked. She shrugged. Because it stays. I taped that drawing above my desk. The world could question me. The past could judge me. But the future had already decided. And for the first time in my life, I chose it back. The first time Anaya called me Abu, she didn't mean to. It slipped out naturally, mid-sentence. While she was telling me about a drawing she wanted to hang near the window. She froze the moment the word left her mouth. Eyes widening as if she'd broken something fragile. I didn't react. Not because it didn't matter. But because it mattered too much. She watched my face carefully, searching for rejection, correction, distance. Instead, I said, that spot will get good light in the evening. Relief washed over her features. She nodded and ran off to find tape. Only after she was gone did I sit down. And breathe. Some roles aren't accepted in words. They're accepted by staying. The legal process took weeks. Forms. Offices. Questions asked in neutral voices that carried quiet judgment. Are you prepared for full responsibility? Do you understand this is permanent? Yes. 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 Each answer felt less like a promise and more like a truth I had already been living. Her mother attended the final meeting. She looked peaceful, tired, but lighter. When the papers were signed, she held Anaya's face between her hands and whispered something only they would ever know. Then she looked at me. Thank you, she said. Not dramatically. Not emotionally. Just honestly. I nodded. There was nothing else to add. Some goodbyes don't need speeches. The sisters didn't attend. I hadn't expected them to. But a message arrived that night from the eldest. I was wrong about what stability looks like. Take care of her. I read it once. Then again. And let it go. The past didn't need forgiveness to lose its power. It only needed acceptance. Anaya's first day at school was cold. Winter mornings had a way of sharpening everything: air, light, emotions. She stood by the door in her uniform. Backpack too big for her shoulders. Nerves carefully hidden behind composure. "You'll come back?" she asked. "I always do," I replied. She believed me. That was the difference. When she waved from the school gate, I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel doubt. I felt rooted. That evening, we framed the drawing she had made weeks ago, the 3 stick figures and the sun. She watched carefully as I hung it in the living room. "Why do you like that one so much?" she asked. "Because," I said, "it tells the truth." She smiled. "What truth?" "That family isn't who chooses you first," I said. "It's who stays." She considered that. Then leaned against me, head resting lightly on my arm. Outside, the city moved on. Inside, something had settled. I wasn't chosen by 3 sisters. I wasn't saved by coincidence. I wasn't redeemed by the past. I was chosen by a future that knocked once. And waited. And this time, I didn't let it stand outside.